So now I'll turn it over to Mr. Clark Cooning, MMR, for the start of the after show. Again, thanks so much for being here this evening.
Well, isn't that a strange way to get into the start of the after show?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, it is.
It's all yours, Clark. Now you can have all.
Thanks. Yeah, it's hey, that was a great show tonight. Thank you everybody for participating and asking questions and stuff. So so here at the after show, we sort of do a after show as well. But this is kind of a free for all. You can ask questions, join in. I usually sort of go around to see who's around, and especially for people that we haven't really talked to too much. Let's see. Well, who haven't we heard from tonight? Oh, well, now there's a new face, Paul. And I don't get mad at me if I pronounce your last name. Is it Shank?
Shank, very good.
Oh, okay.
Very
See, not
good.
bad. So, Paul, where are you from, and what are you modeling?
Originally from Newton, Massachusetts, which is what I'm more or less modeling, New England,
Okay.
the 1950s. Currently in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, well, we won't hold that against you.
Yeah. I won't tell you what they think of Northerners in Atlanta. It's I'll keep it. I'll keep it
know
G-rated.
many of those guys in the Piedmont division. So
yeah, it's been a real nice division. We got a small group. Finally got together with them. The division is big, but our in-town group, quote unquote, got together at my place last Saturday for a couple of hours to have an operating session for the first time in a long time.
Oh, good.
If you want to look at my layout, write down the spelling of my name, and on YouTube, go to Piedmont Pilgrimage, Paul Shank 2021. They did a video for me in 2020, but I like the 2021 video even better. So if you want to see about a 6-minute run through of what the layout looks like.
Hey, Paul, do you want to talk about the Piedmont pilgrimage a little bit?
Sure. It's been going on for many, many years now. I think I've participated for 12 years. And before COVID, we had anywhere from 70 to 80 layouts that would open up. You'd have like 3 or 4 each morning, Saturday and Sunday morning, another 3 or 4 in the afternoon on the weekends, running from mid-October until the end of Thanksgiving. They would cluster them geographically so that if you got to one of them, say on a Saturday morning, you could easily get to the others that were open that morning for 3 or 4 hours, generally 4 hours. And to make it work well, what we usually do is have members who volunteer to assist with a particular layout. So Saturday last week, I was the host outside the guy's basement layout, checking people in, making sure everybody had a mask on. This year, a number of people did open up to have people come in to see the layouts, but a number of us are still virtual. I have reasons in my case to keep it virtual because of my wife's compromised immune system, but that's another story we don't need to get into. But so it was really nice to do the operating session last weekend. But you've got 60 or 70 layouts in general. We had 62 people show up at the one that I helped with last weekend. The times that before COVID, I could have anywhere from 70 to 110 people that came by. And the word got out that I let kids run the trains during the open house, during the pilgrimage. And obviously their parents are there with them. So I know they're not going to do anything wacky, but I'll give them a train and a controller. I use Digitrax, and let them run it around the layout. Takes about, if you do the longest route, it takes about 7 minutes to do it at a decent speed. And the kids just love it. Just love it.
Good. Just keep those throttles away from Howard the Horn.
Yep. Yeah, one 2 years ago, well, 3 years ago now, actually, one of the moms who was there with her son is a teenager who's fairly heavily Asperger's, and model railroading is his passion. So when he showed up and was interested, of course, I handed him a throttle, and his mom stayed with him wherever he went around the layout, which spills over into 3 rooms. And at the end, when he was done and he gave me back the throttle, he walked away to look at something, and she very sincerely thanked me for letting him run the trains for a while. And I said, look, I do this for 4 hours a year. You're his mom 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you're doing to help him.
Yeah.
So it's really nice, really nice.
Oh, excellent. That's I kind of participated. I've been down to Atlanta several times, and I know, as I said, many of the guys in the Piedmont division, and Peter Youngblood is a very good friend of mine, and
Oh yeah,
and Walt Wiles and Perry Lamb and all those guys. So
yeah.
but excellent group of people down there. Right now, I think the Piedmont division is one of the most active divisions in all of the NMRA, and they should be commended. So
It is. I was going to join you guys.
Oh.
I was going to join you guys a couple of
Nice.
weeks ago when you were doing bridges,
Yep.
but something got in the way. So I'm thrilled to be able to pop this one up on the screen for you. That one's about 30 inches long, 19 inches tall, double track. My dad, when he was 84 a number of years ago, helped with the trestle bends. And then I came along, whoops, went a little too far there. That's my harbor scene. How do I get that back?
If you go to one side or the other, you'll be able to find the arrow.
Yeah, let me move these over. There it is. Yeah. And then I came along and added the 1200 bolts that connect all of the pieces. So lots of fun.
Just for
Yeah.
something to do.
Just for something to do. And
Yeah.
a colleague of mine spent several months, did it again, spent several months working on the waterfall and doing the fall foliage scenery there around the bridge. I'm still working on a photo backdrop to go behind it, but we're getting there.
All right.
So Paul, the real question is, did you put NBWs on the back side of the bridge?
No, no.
Good, honest response.
Why would you
He
want to
was
do that
honest.
for?
That's right.
Yeah, and I still have to have the sand towers here that that stick out from the tracks with the barrel on it.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten around to doing those. So here's my harbor scene.
Nice.
Had a lot of fun. The table that looks like it goes all the way back doesn't, and it pulls out so that you can access the 2 main lines that are in the very back by the 2 rows of buildings.
Oh, okay.
Lots of fun with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
Very
I could
nice.
talk all night because I have a tendency to do that. So let me stop and let somebody else have a turn. here.
Well, if you keep talking, Jim will hook you to a full clinic later on. So
Ah,
Actually, I had that thought.
see, there you go. There you go.
It's called being hoodwinked
Oh, nice,
or
nice.
railroaded.
Yeah.
yeah,
You'll be railroaded into it.
yeah, yeah. I've
Right,
been in it
Clark?
now for I'm about 30 years into the hobby, 4 different houses. And this one's definitely the most conducive. As my wife said, we finally found a space for a layout that had a house attached.
Yes.
This is part of the main room. That's 12 by 28. And since I hung the sheetrock, I'm allowed to cut holes in it to spill it over into 2 other rooms.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's great. And don't be surprised if you get some kind of contact from Mr. Jim.
Yeah. Well, I did do an article for the LD SIG journal,
Okay.
layout design for this freight yard that went through a number of iterations on my basement floor. until I finally came up with a configuration that worked well. So one possibility would be to do a discussion that uses some of the drawings and pictures of how it developed and what it finally does. Because you've got 3 arrival and departure tracks, 2 main lines in the front, 6 classification tracks over here, a runaround track here, and there's another runaround track that's shorter on the back too. The drill track on the front can handle the yard switcher and 10 40-foot box cars. And you got the ice house, the ash tower, and coal tower, and the water tower, and a 8-track turntable. So
I think that'd be fantastic. What do you guys think?
Yep, that
Sign
clinched it.
him up.
That last thing clinched it for you being a presenter.
No question in my mind. Listen, do me a favor and
Yeah.
drop me an email so that we can schedule a date and so forth, if you don't mind.
Easiest thing for me would be, let me give you my email. It's just DR and then my name, DR Paul Schenk.
Hold on. DR, spell your name.
Paul, Paul,
Yep.
SCH, N as in Nancy, K as in kind,
Okay.
at gmail.com.
Let me read it back. DR, dog R, PAUL, SCHEK at Gmail.
Need an N before the K.
DR, PAUL, SCHENK.
Right, at Gmail.
Got it.
And
That's
my
nice.
favorite South River Model Works building.
That's nice.
Beautiful.
I ran out of patience to keep cutting 400 grit sandpaper shingles. Got the other side done. Just couldn't get
good way to
myself
hide
to
it.
finish this side. And I go, what am I going to do now? And then this occurred to me. And that worked very well. So,
Never thought to cheat like that before.
yeah, with very small paintbrushes, because, yeah, each of the colors there are individually done. So, a lot of fun
Paul,
with
you
that
ought to,
one.
Paul, you ought to send some of your photos to Chris Corse and let him include them in the My Bill section.
Sure.
Section that we have.
All right. Who else? Who other? What are you laughing at, Mr. Rebard? What are you working on?
I'm working on a building that was by ITLA.
Oh,
Nick made it for me. It's an old scale building. It's a tool shed. And the WOD is doing a clinic
Building.
on this.
oh, okay.
And he made this one as a new model that he hasn't put on production yet. And
Right.
he wanted me to do a write-up on it. So I've been taking a lot of pictures of it.
Okay.
And you can see the inside. Inside, I put a lot of studding in it.
Nice.
So it's all done with powders there, Clark.
All right. Well, I told you you need to develop.
I
that
know we got to
clinic.
get together on that.
Yeah. Well, come on.
You're a long ways up there.
I can't beat everybody to death to get a clinic out of them.
So Jim and Clark, I have to jump off and
Okay.
I'll throw to Clark the thing over to you. But before I go, I put a link in here in the chat. So one of the nice advantages of living in California is we're close to the California State Railroad Museum. And actually I've done 2 trips up there. You can grab a train and from where we are about 25 minutes away in Martinez. It's about an hour and 10-minute trip up. Last time I went, it was $27 round trip, which made it pretty reasonable. So we went up back in June with some of us from the local club here. And then in October, we actually made a trip up. We had about 40, almost maybe 45 members from the Coast Division of the NMRA went up. And Charlie Getz actually went with us and spent about an hour walking through the museum. TSG actually is going to make a video out of that. We shot some different video of it because it was an interesting tour. For example, one of the things as model railroaders, as you walk in, there's a wall that's a timeline wall of the hobby. So it starts on one end with the fact, and the one that probably none of us really knew is Does anybody know how the Titanic factored into model railroading?
I do, but I've seen the Charlie Gets video.
In the video. So basically the idea is that the Titanic, there were model railroading magazines from the UK, which was where they came from at that time. And the whole shipment was on the Titanic and went down. So the whole model railroading industry was set back by at least a month or two because of the Titanic. But anyways, you look down this wall, there's a place where there are 9 painted brass models, and next to it, there are 9 other painted brass models. There's a model railroad. When you walk past the first time, you look and you say, oh, brass models and painted brass models, they're showing the difference. Charlie pointed out that those are the 9 PFM models that when PFM had sold a certain number of models, their Japanese partners would do the very Japanese thing of gifting them a gift. And it turned out the gift was they would be sitting in the office and a box would show up with one of the models that was basically plated in 22 karat gold. So those 9 models on the wall are the 9 PFM models that were painted in 22 karat gold. And there's $250,000 of gold plating on those 9 models. So it was actually really interesting because Charlie really was responsible for curating a lot of that. And I think it'll be really interesting as we kind of see that. But what I wanted to show you guys was this. So I'm gonna share this and just show you. The link is in the chat. But what we did was we made a video of the. Hang on, I got to go find it in my my memory here. Hang on, I'm just gonna do it this way. It's a little easier. So let me share this screen.
Yeah, I thought brass models would be expensive, but gold-plated ones? Damn.
Now, why is this showing up that way? It's not. Is that right?
There you
Hang
go.
on.
That's not it?
Hang on. Are
Oops,
you?
Went away.
Did you see the something? There it is. It was there. Okay, so I'm not going to play this really through because it's long. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it forward and just show you some of the things that are here. This was kind of the trip up. So this is that module, the Smuggler's Cove ON30 module or model set. And these are all shot really close on a gimbal so you can really see all the detail. So there's this one is there. The next one is the Chama Yards, which was a PBL. You may have seen that at some trade shows. And this model, does anybody know what this is? Just let me step back here a little bit. Anybody, just curiosity, does anybody know what that is?
Oh, I know what it is.
Timothy?
I know. Yes.
San Juan.
This is the original San Juan Central that all of us saw all those movies of back in the or all those books about back in the 80s. And then there's actually some pretty amazing, there's a bit of that. These were from Jim Vale's layout. So, one of the things I think, coming back to your real question there, Jim, about what it's all about, it really is about 2 things. It's about basically all the things that are part of the hobby, but it's also just about what amazing things people have created. So I think it'd be great to have Charlie come talk about it. I hope you'll bring a bunch of pictures and talk. And it's a pretty amazing thing that it is really a model of not a model railroad, but the hobby of model railroading and how you get into it. So
Yeah, that is for sure.
Well, am I wrong? Is there a lot of information that's been disseminated on this? Maybe I've just missed it, but I haven't seen much information about. I haven't seen any information about it.
There's been tons. It's been in the press. It's been on a lot of YouTube. People have put it out on the web. So there's lots of stuff. There's a whole Charlie and I believe the curator from the California Railroad Museum. There's about a half-an-hour video of him walking through this whole thing.
I'll put that video up in the chat. I actually pulled it up here.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw my little memo to you, Phil.
Yes.
Okay. So once you're finished, we can wrap up the live part and I can host if you'd like.
Cool. I will make you the host and you can decide to turn off the live.
No, no,
when you want
you can turn off.
No, you're host. That's
I don't even
done.
know how to do it. I always stop live streaming. Okay.
Yeah, just stop live stream whenever you want. You can stop it.
All right. All right. Well, I'm going to say good night to all those on YouTube. And hopefully you'll join us on the Zoom chat live and in person. And we're going to continue with the after show, which is the after show, because it becomes just a free for all now. And we'll stop the live stream and continue on Zoom.